Mrs. Garrard here, and I wanted to read you a book called Gaston. The words are by Kelly DiPuccio, and the pictures are by Christian Robinson. If you've read any of the Tournament of Books, March Madness books playlist, you will have seen a book called Antoinette, and it is by the same author and illustrator. Gaston. Mrs. Poodle admired her new puppies, Fifi, Fofo, Oolala, and Gaston. Would you like to see them again? Okay. Fifi, Oolala, Fofo, and Gaston. Perfectly precious, aren't they? Mrs. Poodle thought so too. The puppies grew, as puppies do. The three were no bigger than teacups. The fourth, however, continued to grow and grow until he was the size of a teapot. Mrs. Poodle took pride in teaching her puppies how to be proper pooches. They were taught to sip, never to slubber. Good. Well done. Very nice. Nice try. They were taught to yip, never yap. Yip, yip, yip. Ruff. And they were taught to walk with grace, never race. Tiptoe, tippity-toe. Whoa! I see a trend here with Gaston, do you? The puppies were also taught how to look pretty in pink, nibble their kibble, and ride in style. Whatever the lesson, Gaston always worked the hardest, practiced the longest, and smiled the biggest. Cutie. Mrs. Poodle was very pleased with all her puppies, Fifi, Fufu, Oolala, and Gaston. Spring arrived, and the proud mother was eager to show off her darlings. She took them to the park for their very first stroll in public. There was much to see. Daffodils, ducklings, dogs. Oh dear, who do we have here? Rocky, Ricky, Bruno, and Antoinette. Wouldn't you like to see them again? Rocky, Ricky, Bruno, and Antoinette. This was more than a little awkward. The mother sized up the pups. The pups sized up one another. It seems there has been a terrible mistake, Mrs. Bulldog said, breaking the silence. "Oy, oy," Mrs. Poodle agreed sadly. "Whatever shall we do?" Mrs. Bulldog could not come up with an answer. "I guess we'll let them decide," she replied at last. See how they sized each other up? They feel like there's a mistake. Big, little, little, big, big, little, big, little. Gaston and Antoinette were young, but even they could see that there had been a mix-up. The two puppies began to circle around and around the group. Gaston walked with grace. Antoinette raced. Gaston yipped. Antoinette yapped. And when they finally came to a stop, the puppies had traded places. There, that looked right. It just didn't feel right. That evening, Antoinette tried to fit in with her new sisters, but she did not like anything proper or precious or pink. Phooey! On the other side of town, Gaston tried to fit in with his new brothers, but he did not like anything brutish or brawny or brown. Ick! Antoinette and Gaston weren't the only ones who were having a hard time adjusting. The next morning, Mrs. Poodle forgot all about being proper and raced back to the park. Mrs. Bulldog was already there, waiting with her burly brood. "It seems we've made a terrible mistake," she nearly shouted. "Oi, oi!" Mrs. Poodle agreed happily. This time Gaston and Antoinette wasted no time trading places. There, that looked right. And it felt right, too. From that day forward, the families met in the park every afternoon to play. Rocky, Ricky, Bruno, and Antoinette taught the poodle puppies a thing or two about being tough. Likewise, Fifi, Fufu, Oolala, and Gaston taught the bulldog puppies a thing or two about being tender. And many, many years later, when Gaston and Antoinette fell in love and had puppies of their own, they taught them to be whatever they wanted to be. And that's the end of that story. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, you get to choose who you want to be. You can be anything. Search for the moon, reach for the stars, dream big. P.S. I miss you. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. See ya.